already.
We are meeting today to talk about Mateo's class. Were you aware of that?
I
We were meeting? You figured?
I figured it was something like that.
So, we heard something had gone on, and to be fair, we want to get you on the record what happened in that class, okay? I want to just tell me what was going on. Did you lose your cool? What did you say?
He insulted me first.
Okay, let's go.
I responded to him.
Give me the whole story from your point of view.
We were doing the edit review. It's not even his class. His class is over, which is why I don't even understand why I'm still around him, because I made it through his class. And
why is Mateo's class over?
Because we already took the final and we got our grades in. The edit review was
he already
more
gave
like,
you, for the semester. He gave you grades?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so the edit review was more like if I wanted.
Critique.
Yeah, it's a critique, but I felt like if it was more like if I wanted his help, I could get it. Which I've told him multiple times I didn't want any help from him, because if it was up, I wouldn't have had him as an instructor right off rip. And so,
what do you like about Mateo? Because he seems to be like one of the highly revered editing instructors. I mean, what is it about him that you find?
He's another one that talks down to me.
Okay.
And he was talking to me like he was God, because his comment was that because of the fact that I don't want to go to the screening. I'm not going to the screening because I want to start my vacation as soon as I'm done with that drawing class on Friday, on the 10th. Because for one, this school is treated, I've just had such a bad experience again this semester that I just want my break. And he can't understand that. And for some reason, the teachers find it okay that something that happens in class, they try to make it into something bigger. Like, they always use the "you won't make it if you don't do this," when I know for a fact that the school can't guarantee my success either way. You know what I mean? You can give me all the tools in the world, but you can't say that I will be successful if I do this.
Or you won't.
Same way you can't say that I won't. And when he said that upset me, because I get tired of hearing teachers use that excuse for something.
What did he say exactly to you? You remember?
We were talking about the music in my film, and I was like, it doesn't matter because I'm shooting films for myself. I'm the one paying for them. You know what I mean? I went broke this past month paying for the film we shot at the beginning of the month, because it's expensive to shoot out here. I went broke on that film. And that's why that day when I was trying to get that check, that was important to me, because even though it was only $128, that was all I had.
I understand.
So for him to suggest that I lack passion because, for one, I don't have access to the equipment. I don't have an editing machine at home, nor do I have a car. So that's an investment just for me to walk here 3.5 miles to come edit. I don't have time to do that all the time. So yeah, well, my editing will be behind the students who have their own systems at home. By the time the final film is due, which he knew that I knew before him when the final film was due, it's going to be done. The same with everything else in the semester. I look at it like, all right, I have until this day to do everything. And so what happened there was he started attacking me for my passion, my lack of passion, and was saying that guys like me don't make it in Hollywood. And I said...
Why? Did he say why?
Because I had a lack of passion.
Why? And why does he think you have a lack of passion?
He didn't say why he thinks it. He was saying that it was more or less because of the fact that I said that I was shooting this film for myself. Which, who else would I be shooting it for? No one else is paying for me to shoot it, aside from a school project. You know what I mean? But I took it way more seriously than I should have. That's why I was willing to go broke doing it. And so, all I kept saying to him was, stop talking to me like you're God, because you can't say what's going to happen to me when you don't even, he don't even got his career on lock. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here. And that's what I said to him. So,
he's your teacher shows that he's not worthy of teaching because he's a teacher.
No. He's not. He's talking about a Hollywood career.
Right.
Not teaching, you know what I mean? Like, that's where it jumps, you know what I mean?
But you're saying that that you don't respect him as a teacher because he's here teaching.
No, I said you can't talk about someone making it in a career or not when you don't even have your career unlocked. Hence, why are you here teaching when you profess yourself as this editor, this editing god or whatever, and you're here teaching. And I know, and people can say what they want, you know what I mean, but I know you'd rather be doing something else. You know what I mean, the teachers. Everybody tries to act like, no, I want to be teaching. But you wouldn't be teaching here, out here in Hollywood, the same way that I'm going to school here for reasons other than just because I want to be a student.
Are you thinking that, well, it's interesting. I mean, are you thinking that, like, I don't know if you know all of our teachers, and there's some teachers who are just teachers, some teachers, but they've done a little bit, and some teachers who are continuing to do stuff and teaching, and some people who feel like they've done it and they want to teach. I mean, so I wouldn't say you can ever say that every teacher would choose the industry over teaching, because some people, I mean, have done 30 years of industry and now they're here teaching because that's what they prefer to do.
Yeah, I'm certain that there are some, but
when you say here, you mean here as in any film school or as in this school?
I'm talking about here, right? Talking about here, like Mateo here. Just by the way he acts, I could tell he'd rather be doing something else.
Okay, how does that make you think that he doesn't have something valuable to say about your film?
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody has something valuable. Anybody could tell me something about his film, but I have a right to pick and choose whose opinions I want to hear, because everybody has an opinion.
And when you don't choose their opinion, do you feel like you have to debate it with him, or you just dismiss it?
The debate is when I say, because I told him on Monday that I didn't care for his opinion. Greg Marks, on the other hand, I care about his opinion.
Does he also comment in that class that you're talking about, this class? He was there too, right?
No, Greg was not there that day, but for some reason in the first semester in edit reviews, we got them both. We got both the directing teachers.
This class that this confrontation happened was just with Mateo, not Greg.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's what I went to the edit review expecting, was because before we had in first semester I had Adam Salke and George Lee White. And during the edit reviews, they both were there, and I spoke to the person I wanted to talk to.
Does Greg still though meet with you and talk about your film?
Yeah, we were there. I met with him Monday.
Okay.
And
Normally they're together? Or no?
And if I could, I just sort of want to interject. I don't have your schedule exactly with me, so I can't really leave through to the exact page, right? But if it's on the schedule with a course number, right, and with an instructor's name in there, that means it is part of a class. So
you're talking about the fact that he thinks it's over, but it's not over.
Right, exactly. So whatever it is you're going to.
My final grade in. I already called the registrar and got my final grade for digital editing 2.
Okay.
So
I'm going to look into that because that's strange to me.
Right.
Yeah.
In any case, what I just want to be clear about or point out is that if it's on your schedule with a course number, in an instructor's name, in a course name, it is a class, and it's a required mandatory.
And that's why I showed up. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that I want his opinion.
Yeah, this is, grade, no grade, class or no class, it's a question of, I think, people giving you critique and who you want to hear from and don't want to hear from, and then if you don't want to hear from them, why is that? And how come it's not helpful still to have even your peers critique you?
My peers do critique me, and I listen to them, but I don't have to listen to everyone, especially when it's my money that's paying for me to be here. It's my money that put into the film. It's not like, because they all fancy themselves producers once we get in the class, because they all try to take that approach, and I'm like, well, where's my money? Where's my pay? That if you produce this film that I went broke on, they didn't go broke shooting my film, so I have a right to choose whose opinion I want. And when I told him on Monday that I didn't want his opinion, that should have ended it right then and there. Instead, I came back, went to the edit review just for the purposes of not losing points, because I knew I had to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I understood that I had to be there. There's kids who didn't show up, but because I knew I had to be there and just went through the motions, he still was trying to give me his opinions, and I already told him. I'd already told him prior that I didn't want his opinion.
So did everyone screen in that class?
Everyone who was there. Okay,
so everyone who was there showed their film, and Mateo was there to give feedback, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I'm going through the motions and all, but
Why did you even bring your film? Or he already had it?
because I didn't want y'all to say that I wasn't there for this thing that I knew I had to go to, and that I didn't come prepared, because everything I do gets me in trouble here. So
When he does the critique, does he also ask your peers to comment? It was mostly about him giving you feedback.
that day it was mostly about him.
Okay. But I think the hurdle is you having teachers that you want to learn from. I think is the hurdle. Now I can't force you to respect a teacher or want to learn from a teacher. I just have to try to understand what it is that you're objecting to in that teacher's expertise, that you would open yourself up to their critique. I mean, that's...
I already found, well, because I understand that everybody has an opinion. Everyone who watches any film is going to look at it a little bit differently, especially in an environment like this. So I have my team of people whose opinions I respect, and will listen to them. Mateo is not one of them. It's not going to be every person that y'all just put. It's not even like I chose Mateo as my teacher. Y'all put him as my teacher.
Well, just also to go to like the actual what was said, because we're still trying to research what was said and trying to get a bigger picture of this and getting, But did you swear at him?
Because I was upset.
Okay. What did you say to him?
I don't remember what I said. That's the thing. Like, it wasn't that important to me to remember what I said. I was just upset that he was talking to me like he could tell the future.
Before he, and I'm not saying what he said was appropriate at all. I'm just saying before he said about your passion, were you also?
No. All I explained to him was that I wasn't going to the screening. That this film, that I'm past it already. I was like, I'm past this film. Like, I understand it doesn't matter. I'm more fool for me for spending all my money on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about the screening. And so now all of a sudden he's telling me I'm never going to make it. And that's what upset me, is because there's one thing, because I told him on Monday I wasn't going to the screening. That's when I spoke to you minutes later after that class about, is it important that we go to screenings? Is it important that we meet the time limits? Every little detail about it to see what the trouble could be.
Do you remember what I said?
Yeah, it was all about the teacher,
right.
And Greg Marks is already cool with it. Like, I spoke to him right after that. So,
right. So what I said there was that the screenings are, more of a celebration, cast and crew event, but completing the work for the class is what's really important. And you asked me, hey, listen, what if I go past the time limit, right? Because you thought it'd be a little long, 12.
Well, no, that was more my question of, my understanding is if you go over the time limit, you won't be screened. And I'm like, so what if I went over the time limit as to not be screened?
Right.
And then you telling me that y'all set aside time for that, and I'm like, well, so no matter what, it's going to be screened. So it's all a matter of whether or not I choose to go or not. And I already know I'm not going. I have no interest in it. I didn't, like, even before all this happened, when I knew that was part of the curriculum, I was just like, I don't care for that. That's just I thought that was just I figured it was just one of the bonuses of going to this school.
Right. So
you guys can continue this one. I have to go to the front because someone's been out there waiting for me. But I just want to say that you guys can continue this conversation. But I would like to leave it, whatever we leave it at, is that we're going to figure this out, get the statement, and then meet with you before you leave on vacation. We need to meet with you again before you leave. When is your last day of class?
August 10th.
All right, well, right then. Because, and first of all, you're obviously, we're not going to have you in Mateo's class anymore. I don't know if there is any more class with Mateo.
There's one tomorrow.
There's one tomorrow. You're excused from it. If we need to, we'll make it up one-on-one. I just don't want, again, like when you have a teacher conflict and it seemed that there was, I don't want to have any contact with Mateo. That's what I'm saying. There's no need to talk to him, and vice versa. He won't be in your class. I can tell that it wouldn't go well anyway at this point, after you guys had that altercation. And I think you could probably be fine with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You go to all your other classes though.
Yeah, I've been going to all my other classes.
All right. Well, let's just figure out how we make it Mateo's. We'll meet before you go off to vacation. And I don't know what to do about this. I just want to understand. I haven't talked to Mateo in person, so I'm going to talk to Mateo, and then meet with you again. Okay.
Okay.
But you guys can. I got to run, but you guys can continue if you want. All right.
All right. Thanks.
Was this in front of the class?
Yes.
The confrontation was in front of the class. Did you leave the class after the confrontation? Or
Yeah,
how'd
he
you
told
guys
me to get
leave
the fuck out of his class. He swear at me too, so I don't know why everybody acting like it wasn't
No,
two ways.
Sure. So basically, he said something to you, and then you obviously got fired up and pissed off, and then you fired back at him, and then potentially he fired back at you. So it's obviously going back and forth.
Yeah, and then he told me to get the fuck out of his class, and I did. So
Yeah.
that was the end of it for me. Like, as far as I was concerned, that was the end of it. Now, if he felt scared or something and needed to come tell on me, that's fine. But he was just he disrespected me first, and he even tried to ask the class, was I disrespectful? No one answered, because how you gonna ask the class whether or not I felt disrespected or not? You know what I'm saying?
So he asked the class whether he felt that you were disrespected. That
If he disrespected me, and
Okay,
nobody said anything, because I'm like, how you gonna ask if I feel disrespected or not at you talking to me like you're God, or something? And he was just like, oh, I'm not saying I'm God. I just know that people like you don't make it out here. And I'm like, dude, don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? All you need to worry about is this class. And I was like, did I fail your class, dog? And he was like, no. I was like, I know I didn't.
Yeah.
So don't worry about what I intend to do when I'm done with this school. You know what I mean? That's not their job to worry about what I'm doing outside of here. All he needs to worry about is me and his class. Not whether or not I want to go to screenings, not whether or not who I make a film for when I'm the one paying for it. You know what I'm saying? That's the disrespectful part, is that he thinks, based on the few times that we've had class together, that he can predict the future. Any teacher that does that is just completely unsacked.
How many times have you had class with him?
I think we had like maybe 8-9 weeks of class, so maybe 9 classes.
Any other incidents that would
There were no other incidents, because in class we just sat there, had our headphones on, and was just editing. You know what I mean? I never had to talk to the man.
Sure.
Anything you want to say in closing?
No, I just wanted to hear obviously what happened with the fun side of this one.
So, right. And just in reference to the question, right, when we spoke, what I tried to convey is that, the screening is not a class, it's like I said, celebration, but completing the work for the class.
Oh yeah, I understand
and
that.
editing whatever the assignment is, that's what's important. If it doesn't meet whatever those criteria is, like it's too long or it's unfinished or rough cut, then you might not do as well.
I spoke to Greg after I spoke to you, and he already knows that I'm not gonna be at the screening, and he went through the process of how he's gonna grade us, and because he might not even be at the screening, so he's getting the DVD the very next day, and is gonna grade us on that worst case. So as long as I turn it in by August 7th, which I intended to do from the gate, then I'm good, because I know I'm gonna be good. But at the same time, it's like, just because something's scheduled doesn't mean I exactly want to take advantage of it. The edit reviews and the rough cut screenings, I get the purpose of them, but like I said, my editing is gonna be behind everyone else because I don't have my own equipment. You know what I'm saying? And the school's not 24/7, so I can't come here at all. I necessarily could. So it's gonna be behind, and I don't necessarily need to hear everybody's opinion on something that I'm working on still. I know what needs to be done. I already heard. We sit there, and my classmates we've seen each other's films so many times now that we know them all inside and out, and know what's wrong with them all. You know what I'm saying? Mateo is just another person with an opinion who I have a right to choose whose opinions I respect here, whose opinions I choose to listen to, because I'm paying to be here. You know what I mean?
Would you change anything of what happened during that day? Would you change it in the way that you acted, or no?
No, I wouldn't change the way I reacted, because he disrespected me first. And I once again, I don't want to get into hypotheticals, but you know what I'm saying, like, if someone disrespect me on that level, that's an ass whooping. You know what I mean? But instead, I stood there and just talked to the man. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody wants to get butthurt here because I'm going to talk back when someone disrespects me, that's fine. But let's be honest here. This should have been an ass whooping he got. Same with a couple other incidences that happened here. It's just disrespectful to a guy like me, and all I did was talk, and people want to get hurt, that's amazing to me. It's very amazing how hurt people get here just because I was talking, when he should have got his ass whooped for insulting me that way.
Make sure you don't do that.
I'm not. Because I would have done it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my point. Is like, yeah, we had an argument, but that's all it was. And when he told me to get the fuck out of class, that was the end of it. That's why I left. You know what I mean? I didn't say nothing to him when I saw him in the smoking area moments later. It was over for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's him coming here telling on me. That's like, come on, are you a man or what? Like, two men got into an argument. No fists were thrown. Nothing happened. When you told me to walk away, I walked away. Now, had I not left this class, then I could see there being a problem. Because he told me to get the fuck out of his classroom. Yeah, he swear at me too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't even understand why this is happening. Because I'm like, yo, two men had an argument. The one who is in charge told me to leave, and I left. And then he came here and told on me like a little bitch. You know what I'm saying? And okay, so I'm sitting here explaining, but that's fine. But since when is it illegal for two men to have an argument? You know what I mean? Since when is that illegal? Granted, yeah, he's my teacher, but at what point does it? He's not my teacher once he insults me and tells me something like, guys like me don't make it out here. Like, he knows me. Because I kept saying, I was like, yo, you talking like you know everything about me when you don't. So that's personal right there. That's not student teacher, that's personal. And all that happened was an argument? Come on, like, seriously?
Okay, I mean, obviously, I've heard enough. Obviously, Dan heard it. So, next step is just, obviously, they'll figure out what's going on. Dan will talk to Mateo. Then we'll bring you back in, obviously, after they talk. So, that's all I got. Anybody else?
That's same for me.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks, Stefan.
Good.
Thank you. Speak to you.